everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's continue with Python series from basic to advanced level. In this video, I will start with decision making statements. Now quickly, let's get started. Decision making statements in Python. See, we have various decision making statements available in Python and they are if statement, if else statements, nested if statements and if elif ladder. Now the question is, why do we need decision-making statements in programming? So for this, see how in real life scenario we make decision based on situations. To give examples, say I want to play basketball, but it started raining heavily outside. Since it started raining heavily outside, I will decide not to play basketball. One more example, I want to eat ice cream. But if I have cold, I will decide not to eat ice cream. Like this, we get many scenarios in real life where we have to make decision based on the situation. Similarly, even in programming, we get many situations where we need to make decision. To give example, say now I want to print whether the student is pass or fail. So I have to check his marks. If his marks is greater than or equal to 35, then I will print his status as pass. Like this, we get many scenarios in programming where we have to use decision making statements. I will discuss few scenarios further. Now next question is, when will decision making arises in Python or any programming language? See, decision making arises when we want to execute a code only if certain condition is satisfied. I already gave you an example. That is, if student marks is greater than or equal to 35, only then print status as pass. So here printing status as pass is the code that we want to execute, and this code is executed only if condition is true, and condition is marks should be greater than or equal to 35. Now let's discuss first decision making statement, that is if statement. If statement is most popular and simple decision making statement. And if statement will only execute the block of statements when condition is true. But when condition is false, what block it should execute, that it will not. It will only execute block of statements when condition is true. So this is the syntax. We have if keyword and then we have to specify the condition. Then we have colon. So we use colon because below this we have some statements. And the code that we have to execute inside if, we have to give some space and write the code. This is the flowchart for if statement. Now let's understand it. And flowchart always begins with start. And here we have condition first. And condition is put inside diamond. So condition is nothing but expression here. So it is put inside diamond, which is called as decision box. And if this condition is true, it will go inside if block and execute the statement present inside if block. So whatever statement present inside if block will be executed and then it will stop. But what happens if this condition is false? So if this condition is false, then we don't have any statements to be executed. It will just stop. It will not execute any statements because no statement is present here. Now let's learn a program to check whether the number is even or odd. We know even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. So even numbers are multiple of 2. Since it is multiple of 2, when I divide this number by 2, remainder is 0. So this is the logic. Now let's code. Say number is 8 and I use if decision statement, and in this round brackets I have to give the condition. So condition is I want to get the remainder when I divide this number by 2. So to get remainder we use mod. So x mod 2, if this value is equal to 0, and then after specifying condition, we have to give this colon, and then inside if we have to print it is even number. We know that the statements that we want to execute if this condition is true, so that we have to give some space and specify the statements. And number of spaces can be anything. We can give 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, and so on. But one thing that you should remember is, say now you want to run more than one statement, then the second statement or third statement, it should also have same number of spaces. So all the statements that you have to execute when this condition is satisfied should have same number of spaces. So it can't have less or more spaces. Now if I run, you can see we get even number. Instead of even number, if I give some odd number and run, it is not printing anything. It's because if we just use if condition, it will only execute block of statement when condition is true. But when condition is false, what block it should execute? That it will not. So we need if else statement. So now let's look into syntax of if else statement. This is the syntax for if else statement. We have already seen syntax for if statement. First, we tell if keyword, and inside round brackets we will specify the condition, and then colon. So we give colon because below this we have some statements that has to be executed. So whenever we have statements below that has to be executed, then we use colon. So even when we define function, we will use colon because below that we have some code that has to be executed. And then we have to give some space and give all the code that we have to execute when condition is true. And we know that if we just use if condition, it will only execute block of statements when condition is true. But when condition is false, what block it should execute, that it won't. So we need if else statement. So we use else keyword which will decide what to do if condition is false. So inside else keyword, again we will give some space and give all the code that has to be executed when condition is false. So inside if we will write all the code that has to be executed when condition is true, and inside else we will write the code that has to be executed when condition is false. And remember, both if and else has same indentation. So indentation is very important when you're coding in Python. Now coming back, I will use else, inside which I will write the code that has to be executed when condition is false. So we will give some space and we will print odd number. Now let's run. You can see we got odd number. So if I give odd number, we will get odd number. If I give even number, we will get even number. See, one more point is we can run the else block code without using else keyword. So what we have to do is we have to put this code where else is present. So now what this means is, if this condition is true, it will go inside this if block and whatever code is present, it will execute. If condition is false, it will come out. So when it comes out, what statement is present, that it will execute. So now let me run. See, it's working. Till now we have seen one condition, but what if we have more than one condition? So when we have more than one condition, we either use nested if or if-elif ladder. But when to use nested if and when to use if-elif ladder, that you will understand further. But now quickly let's look into syntax and flowchart of both of this. Nested usually means we have one statement inside another statement. So nested if statement means we have one if statement inside another if statement. And this is the syntax. So here we have two if statements. and both as some condition. If first condition is true, then it will go inside first if statement and execute the code that is present inside first if statement. And then it will go to second if statements and check the condition. If this condition is also true, then it will go inside and execute the code present inside second if statement. Now, what happens if condition 1 is false? If condition 1 is false, then it will not go to else part. It will go to second if statement and check whether this condition is true. If it is true, then it will execute the code present inside it. If not, then it goes to else part. Now here I have taken income tax scenario. Here we are calculating tax percent based on two conditions. The first condition is age and second condition is income. So first we will check whether the age is greater than 60. If age is greater than 60, then again we will check his income. If his income is less than 25,000, then his tax percent is 0. And if his income is more than 25,000, then his tax percent is 0.1. And then what if his age is not greater than 60? Then again we will check his income. If his income is less than 25,000, then his tax percent is 0.1. If his income is greater than 25,000, then his tax percent is 0.2. See, like this we get many situations when we want to check for another condition after first condition is true. So here the first condition was age. After age condition is checked, then we was checking the income. So whenever we have to check for another condition after first condition is true, we use nested if. Now let's code. So our first condition is age. So if age is greater than 60, and inside this we have one more condition, that is income. And then if income is less than 25,000, then its tax percent is 0. Else, if his income is greater than 25,000, then his tax percent is 0.1. So this else is for this if condition. So here else tax percent is 0.1. Next, if person age is not greater than 60, then again we have to check the income. If it is less, his tax percent is 0.1, and if it is more than 25,000, his tax percent is 0.2. Now we write this else for age. So if age is not greater than 60, then it comes to this else part. So inside this again we have to check for income. So I'll just copy this. So again here, if income is less than 25,000, then tax percent is 0.1. If it is greater than 25,000, tax percent is 0.2. Now let's check this code. So let's give age and income. Say age is 87 and income is 60,000. Since age is greater than 60 and income is greater than 25,000, tax percent should be 0.1. So let's print tax percent. So it should be 0.1. See, we got 0.1. So instead 87, I will pass age less than 60. Say 37, and income now is 24,000. Now tax percent is 0.1 because age is less than 60 and income is less than 25,000. So this was the example for nested if statement. Now let's look into flowchart of nested if statement. Now let's understand the flowchart of nested if statement. So here our first condition is age greater than 60 and this condition is put here. So remember, always condition is put inside diamond, which is called as decision box. And this decision box always have two arrow coming out of it. So one is true, other is false. So now first it will check this condition. If this condition is true, it will go inside body of if and execute body of if. So here, if condition, if it is true, it will go inside and it will execute body of if. So this entire thing is body of if. So if this condition is false, it will go inside body of else and execute body of else. So this entire thing is body of else. Now inside this if, we have another if which is called as nested if. So again it will check for condition. If this condition is true, it will go inside and execute body of if. If it is false, it will go inside else and execute body of else. So now let's assume this condition is false. So age is not greater than 60. So it will go to else part. So in else part, we have another expression, that is nested expression. So again it will check for this condition. If it is true, it will go inside body of if. If it is false, it will go inside body of else. Last decision making statement is if elif else ladder. Now when to use if elif ladder is the question. See, I've already told you, whenever we have more than one condition, we either use nested if or if elif ladder. Now what you should understand is when to use nested if and when to use if elif ladder. See, whenever we want to check for another condition, even after first condition is true, then we will use nested if. If you recall the previous example, we first check the age condition. After checking age condition, we check the income. Only when we check both this condition, we were able to print the tax percent. So, whenever we have situation where we have to check more than one condition to execute the code, then we will use nested if. Whereas in if elif ladder, what happens is we have many conditions, but each condition we have different code to be executed. So here we need not check two conditions to print some code. So for each condition we will have some code that we have to execute. So here you can see that Python is allowing us to have any number of elif clause in between if and else. So that's the reason it is called as if elif ladder. The name ladder because you can have any number of elif clause between if and else. Let me give example for if elif else ladder. Now here we have one number and now we have to write a code where we have to check whether this number is 2-digit number or 3-digit or 4-digit number. Now let's think about logic. So if the number has to be 2-digit number, then that number should be lying between 9 and 99. So if the number is between 9 and 99, then I want to print it as 2-digit number. Elif because we don't have just two conditions, we have more than two conditions. So now if that number is lying between 99 and 999, then it is 3-digit number. So if it is lying between 99 and 999, I will print 3-digit number. So again, I will use elif because I wanted to check whether the number is 4-digit number or not. So if the number has to be 4-digit number, it has to lie between 999 and 9999. So if it lies between 999 and 9999, then it is 4-digit number. So I will print 4-digit number. Now I will write else part. See, if number is not 2-digit number, if it is not 3-digit, or if it is not 4-digit number, then what should be that number? So that number will be either less than or equal to 9, or it will be greater than or equal to 9999. Now let's check. Now I have given 3-digit number. Now if I run, I will get 3-digit number. Now let me give 4-digit number. Now I'll get 4-digit number as output. So if I give less than 9, if I give 7, see, I got number is less than or equal to 9, or it is greater than or equal to 9999. So now if I give more than 9999, then I will get same output. This is the flowchart for if-elif ladder. You can see we have many conditions. Say condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. And you can see each condition have different statements to be executed. And it starts with statement condition 1. So if first condition is true, it will go inside and execute the code present inside first condition. And then it will stop. It will not go to second condition. If it is true, it will just print the statement present inside it and it will stop. Only if it is false, it will go to second condition. And again here it will check whether the condition is true or false. If it is true, it will execute the code present inside it. If it is false, it will go to next condition. And here, once it will execute second condition statements, it will stop. So when it is false only, it will go to next condition. And again, same thing happens. It will check. If true, it will execute the code present inside it. If false, it will stop. I have an assignment question for you all which you have to try. That is, you have to check whether the string is palindrome or not. So palindrome means, so I have string say Malayalam. When I reverse that string, also I get Malayalam itself. So this is palindrome. So in Python, we have built-in function called isPalindrome. If you use this built-in function, it will reverse this string. But I don't want you to use this built-in function. I want you to think about the logic for reversing this string. And once the string is reversed, you can compare the reverse string with the original string and check whether it is same or not. So this was my video on decision making in Python. If you like my video, do like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.